Hello, everybody. It's Bobby here from Full Tilt Weather. We're going to be talking a little bit about the severe weather and possible flash flooding occurring across the central eastern part of America. Uh, Primarily Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, and into possibly some severe weather into the panhandle of Florida, even. I'm gonna let the loop run for here for just a second. We're gonna let it run a couple times. I'm gonna go through it right about now. Just got a new mic. Hopefully this is a lot better than the last one. Know some people were complaining about the last one having some crackling issues, so I went out and got a better mic. Uh, Primarily north of 20, all the way into maybe even some of South Carolina into Charleston area. Flash flooding is going to be possible, as anywhere from 4 to 6 inches of rain is possible all the way into Mississippi, northern Alabama, all the way into Knoxville, Bristol, all of this area here. Some flash flooding occurring is pretty likely. I don't think we'll see any large amount of extremely dangerous flooding, but few streets, closed down due to water, something like that. That's a high possibility, especially in between Huntsville and Knoxville. So we're going to nudge this forward just a little bit. You see the line is expected to strengthen right around Huntsville, heading all the way into Knoxville, dropping large amounts of rain. This is a very, very likely outcome. That's going to be our primary flooding threat. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the severe weather threat here. So, here about lunch, most severe weather threat's going to be right here below I-20. As these cells do move through Knoxville through the late afternoon into nighttime area, a couple severe warnings, maybe even a tornado warning is possible due to the topography area. So anybody who don't know what the word topography means, you're just dealing with the differential of height. So object is lower, that means it has to be colder. So you have air moving up over the top of that that's warmer. That can create a block. Currently, we're going to have a lot warmer air, so that's going to create instability heading up over these mountain ranges. So this colder cold front based remnants of beta is basically really what it is. Coming over these areas, now you have cold air aloft and warm air to the ground. Whenever that occurs, you have warm air push through, that creates instability. That can happen so fast the models can't pick it up, and in some of them areas up there, it can happen so fast the radars can't pick it up. It does occur. I've dealt with that for many, many years, 10, 15 years now. Just the radars are set so much higher, a lot of times you don't really see the full run of the storm through some of these areas. You can have a lot of unpredicted, unwarned, severe weather. It occurs. That's just part of, living that close to a mountain range. Topography plays with everything, especially in the world of weather. But heading down here to I-20, we actually have a small severe weather risk here. Primary risk is going to be 60 mile per hour winds. Maybe some extremely isolated 1-inch hail could be possible. I tend to think that probably will not happen, but some 60 mile per hour winds looks likely. Maybe a spin up tornado or two down here below 20. Primarily through the 59 corridor over into the 75 corridor in Georgia. So including the majority, well, all of southern Alabama and portions of the panhandle of Florida. There could be a few isolated cells right here. We see this line about 12 o'clock predicted. Moving just out of Louisiana into Alabama. This is a possibility. Could have another line fired this far south. If so, any of this area right in here between Louisiana and Mississippi border over to 55 could see a couple isolated storms. Could see the same thing moving from 55 over to 59. Whenever I was chasing, we used to call this the Devil's Box. 2010, 59, 55. So much severe weather occurs in that little area right there. It's astonishing whenever you statistically look over the numbers of severe weather that occurs in just that area on pretty much any given year. But moving forward, 59 moving east. We're gonna bump the models up here. So now we start to see scattered cells moving out about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. All these cells are going to be capable of 60-mile-an-hour winds, possible very isolated 1-inch hail, and spin-up tornadoes. They're going to be moving into about 1,200 to 1,600 megajoule Cape into a 27-mile-an-hour southwesterly breeze. This could produce the tornado ratio could go up a little bit higher. It could happen. Currently, right now, we're looking at about 1.8% chance of a tornado, about 11% chance of a severe warning. So, them are going to be the base average numbers over this area. I do believe with the southwesterly kicking up, into the 27s aloft, we'll be getting a little higher than that, maybe into the 30s. I do expect a couple of tornado warnings across this area. I don't really think the ground favors a tornado, but you never know. I mean, one of them rotates. It's always best, to take that into consideration and find shelter. These things can be dangerous. Sometimes they just knock trees down. Sometimes they take homes. I mean, it happens. Smaller tornadoes or larger tornadoes. I mean, I've seen extremely large tornadoes not be able to do a lot of damage, and I've seen extremely small tornadoes be able to do a lot of damage. I mean, just looking at it doesn't even always, tell you, well, this is what's occurring there. But moving forward, as you see, we start to see all these little isolated cells fan out over this area. Keep going forward. This is going to continue all the way into Alabama. There is expected to be a break about midnight. I guess it's probably about 9 o'clock. And then the next line comes into play through the night. Huntsville. As you can see right here from Huntsville down to below Montgomery right now. This is very high Cape brackets, and then you have Dothan down here. And believe it or not, Dothan has the record for the third most tornado warnings for a single individual town of any town in the United States. Number one is way over here. Marshall, Texas. Right there. But moving forward here, this is expected to be a QCLS line. So it's going to be real scattered because it's going to be moving about 3,020 Cape right in that area. Maybe 3,600. This line will be capable of 60-mile-an-hour winds. I don't foresee much hail out of this line. Very possible due to the rib. being a little bit higher up in here at that point, that this just becomes rain. But there could be a couple isolated severe warnings in this line as it moves east. And as you can see, still then strengthens heading into tomorrow morning into Georgia. And Georgia will more than likely see some severe weather coming into tomorrow. But that is the base forecast. Anybody's got any questions or anything you'd like to ask me, just ask me in the comments. Thank you all for watching. If you watched all this, you're definitely a trooper, and I appreciate it. But everybody have a blessed day.